You know about this building, my shop here? It was a holiness church, yeah. My father, he'd preach in here when some of the preachers get sick or had to go out of town. Well, he'd preach in their place, yeah. He married my daughter here, helped the wedding, you know. The neighbor lived up the street, she married Scott. His name was Scott. Yeah, my daddy married her, yeah. I went to church here when I was real little, you know. My family did, really, yeah. That's about history. It's going on 100 years old. This building is, yeah. I had a girlfriend here. I was just a small teenager, but and my girlfriend and me, we sat on the back row, on the pews on the back row in church here, and I'd hold her hand while they was preaching, and they'd preaching. Some of them would fall out on the floor and start talking in tongues, and my stepmom, she passed out there on the floor and talked in tongues. It was a holiness, Pentecostal holiness church. Played guitars, sung gospel music, yeah. It was all right, yeah. It teaches you to be good and to respect your elders. That's the main thing in this world. Nowadays, a lot of the young people don't respect their elders, and that's God's truth. I mean, people knows that. They need to change their ways and respect their elder people. All the elderly people died away, and the young people, they didn't come to church here. That's why I own it now, because they sold it off, you know.
You say you bought this about 50 years ago?
Yeah, it's been 40, 50, been right about 60 years ago, yeah.
But you bought it?
Yeah, me and my wife, yeah. She's been passed away 20 years, it's coming June the 15th, so it's been a good while since we bought this place, yeah. Oh yeah, I had a good birthday yesterday. I turned 80 yesterday. And all my friends around Cedar Keys here, they came to my birthday party. I remember when there wasn't 100 people here. Hardly 100 people in Cedar Keys. It's been that long ago, yeah. I wouldn't live nowhere else, really. I like it here. I was raised here. I wasn't born here, but I was raised up. I commercial fished 35 years, and then they banned the nets on us, and that took care of that. You know what I'm saying? When they messed things up when they banned net fishing here. All the restaurants around here depended on seafood. You know what I'm saying? Well, they still get seafood, but it all ain't as fresh as a lot of people think it is. But it's still good, you know. I'm not downing it, but it ain't as good fresh seafood. And I built boats in here for a long time. They call them bird dog boats. They got a tunnel, runs all the way out the stern. I built them here, and a lot of people like my boats because they turned and handled real good with the motor up front. And all the weight in the front of a tunnel boat, the stern wants to slide around with you. My boats run real good, and they run fast, and they turn good. I could run it without a net on it. You know what I'm saying? They just run good, handle good. A lot of people on my boats. That boat was built in 1923. Built right here in Cedar Keys by the name of Mr. Joe Wilson. Built it in 1923. Yeah, I fished it a long time. I stayed at Swanee River up there on it. Me and my wife lived on it up there for about a month, just to get away, you know. And I fished up there and hauled my fish back to town in my net boat. It was a lot of fun. We had a good time doing that. They banned the nets on fishing. And when they did that, I went into the furniture business. Now, I built a few boats while I was net fishing. You know, I'd be cut off, you know, for 2 or 3 days or something, go and build a boat. I could build a boat every 7 days and have it sitting out in the yard ready for a man to put his net and motor on. Every 7 days I could build one of them bird dog boats. A lot of people don't believe it, but I could do it back then. I can't do it now. It'd take me longer. But that's the way I got started with that. And my outdoor furniture business, now I did that. They banned the nets and I had to do something. I went into the picture frame business first. Built picture frames. That done pretty good too. But then I decided I want to do some outdoor furniture, so I figured out some things to do and I done it. Yeah. And I'm still doing it. And that's been about 25 years ago, 30 years ago. Maybe longer. The man down here used to have a hardware store, the only one in town at the time. I can't think of his name right off, but it'll come to me. But he owned some property out there where they had that Rosewood massacre here, and Daddy bought that property. I don't forget what he paid for the property, but I know what he sold it to Mr. Henry Brown for. Anyhow, Daddy built a house on it, and we was cleaning it up, and there was, well, I don't know, 3 or 4, I think there was 3 little tombstones there, headstones, and he said, there's a cemetery. We was cleaning the briars and stuff up, put a fence. So he set the little headstones back up. And that was part of that massacre that they had out there with the blacks at the time. And he sold that property to Henry Brown for $800. The only part I know about the Rosewood massacre is hearsay. You know, you hear a lot of stuff about stuff, and from the way I get it, and the property that we own, and the graves that's there, there's only, I think there was 3 graves, I'm pretty sure of that. I thought maybe there was 4, but I think it might have been 4, but only 3 headstones. Yeah. I don't know how that really, hearsay now, that they say a black guy raped a white girl here. So they went out and, you know, asked them to come out and all that kind of stuff. The man's passed on now that really knowed about it. He had a letter from somebody that, and my brother seen the letter of that doings. And he said he told them to come out or they're gonna burn them out, and I think that's what they did. Of course, like I said, it's all hearsay. I can't go and say I know what was going on, so I didn't. I wasn't even here then. Wasn't born then. That's a long time ago. So they got a sign out there, a big, looks like about a 4x4 or 3x4 foot sign telling about the history of the Rosewood massacre. See, that Summer is out there. It's the name town, Summer and Rosewood. They join in one another, kind of. I'm doing pretty good. I've got emphysema real bad, but I'm still hanging in there. I ain't as fast as I used to be. I got a sawmill. I saw my own wood and everything. Yeah. I still saw it. I got a bunch of logs out there. I got more logs. I won't never live long enough to saw them all. Pine logs, big old, some yellow pine. I got quite a few cedar logs out there too. I have donated some of my outdoor furniture. I made a porch swing with an A-frame for a fella for his little boy for Christmas one time and gave it to him. I don't mind that a bit. It made me feel good. And I want to be remembered like that. When I go, I like people to remember me that I was a good person. You know. That's the way I want to be remembered.